Yeah, the banknotes for the Standard Chartered Bank, which really I was so glad to hit on that idea, and
after your lecture, I was always glad to see the banknotes you designed. I received the money.
Thank you. Well, I'm very proud of them. I have to say, and a lot of work goes into it, and then nobody notices.
But after your talk, I noticed several times.
Well, you do, but as I told you in that talk, people feel the paper, they see the denomination, the number, they look at the color, and that's it.
Yes.
Beyond that, you can ask them, well, did you see the fish on it? And they say, fish, Have you looked at the back? I didn't know that, because that's and if you don't have that function, if you don't make the numbers clear and get the color correct, you've got a problem. But there's so much that goes into the banknotes that nobody notices, except for the counterfeiters, and they study very carefully.
Yeah, take care of the number of that.
Yeah.
And about the banknote design, I think the Standard Chartered Bank has given more freedom for you to do that, maybe.
Well, no, I wouldn't say so. They gave me freedom to come up with suggestions. We had a set of 5 banknotes, and there was a theme needed for the back, and we tried several different ideas, and that was the one that had the most excitement. Some of the usual approach that people without imagination have is to take scenes in the city, or maybe festivals or something. But this idea of heritage and technology was really a winner. And if you have a good client, they'll recognize that.
Oh, yeah. To do that. And maybe the last part of that, about I think you have already told me some of your working process when you do a design.
Yeah.
Yes. And also what do you think is the most important part in the process you do the design? Maybe the first part, so collect the inspiration.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first part, the information gathering.
Yes.
And defining the problem.
Oh, yeah.
Really making sure that you know what's wanted, and making sure that the client understands that also, because sometimes they want everything, and you can't do that easily. Like if you want to, we've got a client that we're working with now who wants to have a kind of a present that will be used in the future and given away to people. But when we were initially told about that, they also wanted it to mark an event this year. So if you have that, you can't have something that for the next 10, 20 or more years says 2016 on it. So there's a lack of harmony there. There's a problem, and we settled that so that we have an understanding that we'll pay attention to the thing that continues and that isn't linked to something specific. And that's the clarification. It's understanding the problem and then doing as much information gathering as you can, and thinking about what kind of a company is it, because you have two choices. Either you do something that looks as though it's from that kind of a company, or you do something that is a contrast to what you associate with that industry. That's something that a lot of designers don't take into account, which is the environment, if you like, the ecology. If you're doing a poster, you have to look at what are the other posters that are going up on the wall. What do they look like? And then you decide, do you want to look like them? And there's nothing wrong with that. Or let's talk about packaging, you know, in a supermarket.
They're from the same categories.
You know, you can look and see, you know, that, you know, they have certain elements, certain colors in common. You can blend in with that and say, you know, we're like these other products, or you can stand out. Yeah. And that has to do with a selling concept. You know, are you going to look like other people? And there's nothing wrong with that. Or you're going to make a contrast so that you'll be noticed and maybe thought of as a little bit better than the competition. But a lot of designers don't think about the ecology, the visual ecology. They just say, oh, I'm going to do a poster, you know, I'm going to do this, you know, not what do people expect? Are we going to meet their expectations, or are we going to challenge their expectations? You know, and of course, art does that also. You know, something that you say that doesn't look like art. You know.
Maybe such as the masters as you always challenge their expectations. You always challenge their expectations or follow you.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, there are some times when you have a language that's expected. There are, you know, they say that a lot of food products, you shouldn't use blue for food, and if you go to a shop there are several health food shops, and you'll notice that they tend to go in a lot for brown and green, and you won't see much black and blue. You'll see tan and white. You know, and you know, and that's the way the market is. And if you want to really stun people, you can have an all-black package with blue lettering on it, and it'll stand out. But maybe
some customers can't accept it.
Yeah, people might say, well, you know, unless you really put a lot into the marketing, into the budget, you know, people might say, looks peculiar, you know. But that's a strategy, and that's what you do in that first phase. The unconscious, that process of digestion, it's that's different. I mean, in a way, it's like we come into the world. You know, there's intercourse, there's pregnancy, and then there's birth. You know, and ideas are a bit like that. We don't have to take that too far, but you know, it's a process like that. You can very seldom get ideas right away, And if you do, they're probably not good, because you're probably coming out with something that you saw and you forgot you saw.
Yeah.
And then you know, if you say, "Oh, I've got the idea already. You know, I've done it," and then you say, "Oh, you know, I didn't realize, you know, that's been done before." You know,
Yeah.
and the worst thing is that you show that to a client, and they say, "Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, great." You know, and then it turns out it's unintentional plagiarism. You know, that's why you want to leave that that period of gestation, of, you know, digestion. You know, letting it go around a bit. It doesn't have to take weeks or many days, but you should allow that when you just don't think about it. You know, don't worry about it. And once in a while, an idea will hit you, and you know, you sketch it down. And, but leave it. You know, don't say, "Oh, that's the idea," but just keep a record.
Oh, so you start maybe from the research part,
Yeah.
and then you always, when you think of some ideas, you always do some sketches through all the process you do the design.
Yeah, it's interesting how. I hope it's temporary, but there are lots of designers who can't draw,
Yeah.
and haven't been asked to draw. They work purely with the mouse and the keyboard. Very few of them have actually, you know, studied drawing, and I think it's very important, not because we're expected to be illustrators. Sometimes it doesn't hurt. You know, simple ideas you can put down and actually use. But what I find is so good about drawing is you can get an idea down quickly. A friend of mine who worked, he was the art director for Time magazine, and when I visited him, Time was shifting over to being completely typeset digitally, and he had no computer in his office. And I said, "I see you don't have a computer." And he said, "Yeah, that's because I'm faster."
To draw.
Yeah, and still today, I can draw something while somebody with a computer will still be setting